funny. Okay, we are live for our first spiritual chat. This is Dana, everybody.
Hello.
I would like to invite her to my channel, RC77 Oracle. And we are going to talk about ghost hunting and paranormal investigation, as well as we do have one question from last week. And I'm going to leave it up to Dana what she would like to start with.
Oh, I don't.
Do you want to start with the question, or do you want to start?
We have a question? Yeah, let's start with the question. That'll get the ball rolling.
Okay. And then if you guys, as people come in and join, or if you get this live at a later date, because I will post it once it's done. If you do have any questions for Dana, we'll bring her back on and we'll discuss those, as well as any other spiritual questions that you might have. But our question that we had was, and this was a few weeks back, it was right after my last live. The person, gosh,
we got to look it up.
Sorry, I want to be direct.
That's
okay. The question is, someone's here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hi, Barbara. Hey, how are you? The question was, I'm ready to start mediumship. I'm ready to expand my mediumship abilities. What should be my first steps?
You got to find a good teacher. That's critical. You got to find somebody that can help you tune in to your skills. It's a lot of self-exploration.
Okay.
And then, when I did mine, because I've always had my little sixth sense.
Uh-huh.
But when I really wanted to learn to tap into it, I even did a, what do you call it? The Native American, look at me, I can't even think of it.
Like how to tap into your spirit guides?
Yeah, but I did a vision quest is what I did.
Okay.
And
look at the camera.
Yeah.
Keep looking at the camera.
Where's the camera?
You can just watch yourself,
and
then you'll see how you're
So anyway, I did a vision quest, and in order to prepare for that vision quest, you had to write down all of your fears.
Okay.
And then you had to figure out why those were fears. Even if it was you're afraid of the smell of an onion, you got to figure it out.
Okay.
And then so I'm like, cool, that was easy. But then the next thing you had to do was the things that make you truly happy. And you think that's easy?
No,
it wasn't. I found that harder than trying to figure out why I was scared, what I was scared of. But once I did all of that, then you get down to the core of everything, the core of who you are. And then, there we go. And then I did my vision quest. So I did 24 hours in the wilderness, all by myself.
By yourself?
No, I didn't do 24 hours. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was like, wait,
you
spent the overnight? Okay.
No, I did.
To get prepped for mediumship?
I did like 12 hours.
Okay.
So it was all night.
Okay.
That I was by myself. Very enlightening. And the fact that I could do it. And
what was going through your mind sitting out in the forest on your own?
Well, that's kind of a personal,
okay.
But it was a lot of just connecting with the earth, with the elements.
Okay.
And
so becoming one.
Yeah, becoming one and knowing what scares you.
Okay.
More so facing your fears and stuff.
Head on.
It was it was really something else to do. And it was so cold that night. And it hadn't been cold, but that particular night it was cold. So, but I still remember that night.
How did you know you were ready to open mediumship abilities?
I guess I just took steps to say how I knew I was ready. Again, because it's something that I've always had. I guess when I was ghost hunting is when I really wanted to tap into it, or it started to, let me change that, tap back into me.
Okay.
So, and then once I was doing that, then I'm like, there's a lot more to this than I thought. I didn't realize how sensitive I was. And then I met somebody, and they helped me tap into it more. But with that being said, it's self-exploration. I mean, you can be taught, but you have to be willing to look at yourself
Yeah, I agree.
all the way. So,
Because me and Dana went to a mediumship class for beginners,
mhm.
and I do want to say the exercises that she was doing for us, that doesn't work for me.
No, I kind of thought the same thing. Like, she should have had first timers meet
Your guides.
your spirit guide. Because the very first time I did that, which I mean, I went into it like, okay, whatever. And then so this person walked us through this whole um, exercise, and then placing yourself, creating a happy spot
Mm-hmm.
where you want to be. So I did that, and then she had us go into a room, and then explained how the room looked. So in my mind's eye, I'm looking around and I'm seeing everything. And then she said, "Okay, now there's a doorway. See the doorway?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I see the doorway. Oh wow, this is really trippy." And then she goes, "Okay, in a second, your spirit guide is going to walk through that doorway, and they're going to introduce themselves to you." And I wish they could have had a camera on me, because I was sitting there, and my eyes are closed, and I'm looking, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa!" And I saw this being walk in, and I was totally taken back by it. And then in my mind, I'm like, "Well, who are you?"
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "I'm Robert." And I'm like, "Robert, that's all you got?"
You're my
Spirit
everybody.
guide, and you're telling me your name is Robert? Okay, Robert. But it was very interesting, and they don't stay with you. You get different spirit
Oh
guides.
no, I
Yeah.
think you have a whole array.
Yeah,
Your team
yeah.
is endless.
And it was very trippy, and I continued to meditate, because I really like that, in my happy spot. And then one time I was meditating, and then I told this person that was helping me, he said, "Off in the distance, I could see this blue wolf. What does that mean?" And she goes, "Oh, that's your spirit animal." I'm like, "What the heck is a spirit animal?" Because again, I'm not knowing anything about this stuff.
Yeah.
And she explained to me what your spirit animal is. And I'm like, "Oh, really? It's a wolf and blue?" And she's like, "Yeah, look into it." And I did. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's me.
That's cool.
I'm a wolf." Very family orientated and very protective of my pack. And of course, blue, as you know, is my favorite color. I should have wore blue today, but yeah, I liked that whole kind of coming of age, but I've laid it down for a little while, but it's still there. It's always been there. When I was a kid, and my mom would ask me, "How did you know that?" Or people will ask me, "How did you know that?" And the best I can explain it is,
You just know.
how did you not know? It's like, for me, it's just there. It's like, oh, because it's right there. Can't you see? It's right in front of you.
See, I think with my upbringing, I just stopped that. I'm just like, I just know. I can't tell you how I know. I just know.
You just know. Yeah, and that's me.
And
I
I'm
just know.
standing by it. So
Yeah, I get a feeling. I'm getting something to drink, but it's not alcohol. It's Coke.
it's Sunday, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I love Jesus, but I do like to drink a little. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, but anyway, I got my gift from my dad. That's where it came from.
What do you think your strongest gifts are?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't. My strongest?
You can do like a top 3. How about that?
Empathy.
Okay.
An empath. Being able to see something in my mind's eye.
Okay. So sight.
Sight. Yeah. What else?
So you have hearing, sight, feeling, which is your empath. You can have smell, you can have taste.
No, I've never had a smell.
Not yet, anyways, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Taste, no.
Not yet again.
But for me, it's just like, do you remember when we went to that one class or
Oh,
meeting?
the medium circle.
Hmm. And listening to these people, and then like it's right there. Can't you? I can tell what they're suffering from, or who they're suffering for,
Mm-hmm.
who they're missing, and we all want answers. We don't always get them.
Nope.
You know.
You get them at the time that you're meant to get them.
Mm-hmm. So, but I'm good at that. But I need to learn to say it when I think it instead of second guessing myself. Because there's been plenty of times where I've second guessed myself and then come back and say something else when it's like, why did I say that when I knew it was this instead of that? But
so my question to you is, what do you think the blockage is on the second guessing?
just me.
How do you think you can overcome that?
I would just have to really start stepping up with my I just drew a blank again.
That's okay.
You know, just what's the word I'm looking for?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know why she's asking me, people.
Oh, I just need to.
I see her brain, and it's just going.
Yeah, it's traveling.
It's on life
miles.
support right now.
Yeah, it's just I just need to start getting in tune with myself. But like I said, I laid it down for quite a while. You know, when I was ghost hunting, it was the living people that scared me more than the dead. Live people can be.
Well, live people now, to me, scares me more than the dead, unless the dead startles me and sneaks up on me, which occasionally it does happen.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been. Well, no, I'll take that back. I have been startled. There have been times I remember we were doing a ghost hunt. I was new into it, and we were at the Ogden train station, and it was so overwhelming. I called my husband at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, crying, and he's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "Well, I know I've always had this, but it just is so intense. It's like, oh my gosh, you know." I was freaking out, and I had to calm down. I had to go outside. I had to calm down. And then I have to learn how to, or learned how to like step back and then stop because so much information comes in. And it's not like I feel like somebody's sitting on my shoulder whispering in my ear. I wish I could be more specific about how.
Boundaries?
Yeah, I had to set up boundaries. Yeah. But it was interesting and learning a whole lot about stuff that I had never even given a thought to before, you know. So, and I was good at what I did, you know. I liked it. I really liked ghost hunting. I liked helping people because that part, you know, when somebody thinks they're going through something and they're talking to their family about it and they're like, okay, this chick's nuts or he's nuts. But then to tell them, I believe you.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you. And then see the look of relief on their face, like, thank God somebody believes me.
Yeah.
You know. So,
and that's the whole purpose of this chat and
yeah,
shining my light is to let people know it's okay to come out of shadows. If they're not quite ready yet, bring the questions in. We'll answer them. You'll get different viewpoints.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is that is beneficial is easy. That's the truth. Yeah. Yeah. And some people may have the gift, but they're too afraid of their own shadow to use the gift. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't do it if you're scared. Don't do it if you don't think, you know. But like for me, it's like I said, it's always been there. Always. And when I really tap into it, it can be very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
agree.
but yeah.
I feel, going back to the question, on the mediumship, developing it, I would recommend to that person to start setting up boundaries. Make sure that you have strong boundaries with the living, because if you don't, the dead is going to walk all over you.
Mhm.
They're going to bug you. I learned that the hard way when I started developing my mediumship. And then also think of what I would start exercises that work around your strongest clairs, whether
That's
it's your sight, your knowing, your empathy. So look for exercises on that. And then go to teachers
yeah.
that resonate with you,
Yeah.
that just don't jump in it freely.
Yeah, I have to be careful because there are people out there that are con artists.
Yes.
And I've discovered that the hard way, because I knew somebody and that person ended up breaking my heart, because you didn't have to do all of that. You could have just been you and left it at you, but instead you concocted things that weren't real, and it made me question her reality versus mine. And then you bring your friends or family into that. And so I was totally embarrassed. I'm like, that person's a sham. Or what gifts they did have, they abused them, so they're going to lose them. Because that's the other thing. You abuse your gifts, you'll lose your gifts.
Yes.
And don't add and pretend that you have something that you don't have. Like, I don't see dead people. Well, no, I take that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything comes, I like to say, everything comes
Ah.
at the time that you need it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's only been a handful of times. Like my friend Myrna, the one that passed away, when we went to go get her things, and I was with her mother and then my best friend Randy. And when we got in the car, I was driving and we had a few of her things. I looked in the rearview mirror, and for a split second, I saw Myrna sitting with Randy in the back seat. But she was there, and I could feel her spirit there. That wasn't a question, but I saw her, And then there was another time where it was with my sister-in-law. Her mother had passed away, and I was at the funeral, and I was bending over to set my purse down, and when I looked over, for a split second, I saw her mom on the dance floor, and she was so happy. And that's a long story, how that came to be, but when I called my sister-in-law and I was like, I got to tell you something. And then I told her, and she was like, and it was weird that we were out on the dance floor because I don't dance.
Yeah.
But I knew my mom would want me to dance. And I'm like, well, let me tell you, she was right there with you. And she is the happiest I'd ever seen her. So, and then one time I was getting in my car and I looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw somebody for a split second. These are just a glimpse. And then it was later on I found out that my uncle had died. And I'm like, oh, because at first I'm like,
Yeah.
well, who the heck was that?
And it came to you.
Yeah, that was my uncle. And he was cool, because when I was little, he would be like, hey, y'all, get over here and sit down next to your Uncle Jim, watch Grand Ole Opry. Come on now, sit down. And I had to sit there on the floor by his legs, and I'd watch the Grand Ole Opry with them. And I adored him. I absolutely adored my Uncle Jim. And then as we got older, I just didn't hear from him anymore. Families, how we separate or go our different ways.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think you'll come back together.
yeah.
So anybody that's here in the live chat, looks like there's 2 other people. Any questions before we move on to ghost hunting and paranormal investigation? Anybody?
Anybody.
We'll give it a minute.
Can you close that?
Yeah. Go ahead. Play with my mouse. Do it, Dana. Do it.
There we go. Well,
let's move on.
Okay.
So when did you start ghost hunting and paranormal investigation? What year?
Oh, what year.
Or just
Sometime in the 2000s, maybe 2002, maybe 3, because by the time I had Katie, that was 2006. I was already into it, but I didn't do anything when I was pregnant. And then after she was pregnant, after I had Katie, then I got more involved in it. And I did it for like 5 or 6 years.
So what made you want to ghost hunt?
Because I've always had a fascination, always. And there was this one time when I was working at a hair salon in North Hollywood, and there was this guy, one of the girls that I worked with. I had been telling her how I wish there was a place you could go like for paranormal research, like where you see in poltergeist. And then she was telling me about a customer of hers that did stuff like that. And so he came in and I started talking to him and I asked him, could I tag along on one of your adventures? And he was like, yeah, but it never went any further than that. But he was telling me about a ghost hunt that they were on. And I believe it took place in Long Beach, California. And they ended up being like on one of those California Live shows or something that they would show at night, like local stuff.
Yeah.
Because of the paranormal that was involved in it. And I was just fascinated. This thing almost hurt him though. And they have pictures of him when he's up in the attic and he's got a cord wrapped around his throat. But I was fascinated by it. And so when we moved to Utah and then the computer was more, the computer was there, I started looking up, like, how would I find ghost hunting or paranormal? I just kept putting in. And then, of course, I was a big fan of ghost hunters. The Rhode Island guys, Jason Hawes and
I've never really watched any of those.
oh man, I was so into that show.
I watched Paranormal State, I believe.
Taps. That's who they were, Taps. And I would watch them because they're can I say it? They're no bullshit. He doesn't pretend. He doesn't act like something's there. If it is what it is. If it is, which takes a lot for him to say it is, then it is.
So he tries to debunk it.
Yeah, because I ghost hunted with somebody who everywhere we went, it was haunted. And it's like, it's not, most of the time it's not. You can debunk it, I mean, it takes a lot. You can't just go in and go, oh, this is what it is. But you do have to investigate. You do have to look around. You have to do your homework. And a lot of times it's like one customer, I told her, it's you. You're the one that's causing all of this activity. No, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is, because both of her sons were deployed. She was living by herself. I don't want to go into too much because of her privacy. But as it turned out, she was the one that was creating like poltergeist activity.
Bringing in her energy.
She was doing it herself. And she wanted to argue the fact on that. But I told her, it's you, because you notice the only time this stuff happens is when you're really kind of high strung with your boys. So, but I mean.
So that goes into my question. When you are ghost hunting or paranormal investigation, how do you prep yourself for it? So do you, like, what I mean by clean your own energy? Do you go out if you're not in your, I like to say, balanced mind, body, soul? So like when I do stuff, if I feel like I got any personal junk attached to myself, like if I'm having a rough day, I don't even bother with it.
If you feel like you shouldn't be doing it, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you feel like your guard is down, don't do it. I used to just say a little prayer.
Okay.
Envision a little white light around me, and say a prayer of protection. And I'm just saying, dear Heavenly Father, please protect me tonight as I move about. Please don't let any harmful spirits harm me in any way. And it's funny, I also carried a rosary, and I'm not Catholic. and I also carried holy water.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the rosary was one that my husband had given me, and the little balls on the rosary were all made from crushed rose petals.
Oh,
Yeah, it
wow.
was really cool. So I always carried that on me, and then when I was done, um, I would say a prayer on my way home from wherever I was going. I would say a prayer, and then before I would walk into my house, I would say out loud, "You're done. So if there's anything attached to me or following me home, you leave now. And you mess with my children, and I will end you." And I know how to do that. So, and that was the other thing I had to convince my children because it spooked them, and why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I would tell them, "Oh no, they don't come home because they're afraid of me because they know I know what to do to get rid of them, and I can send them into oblivion." And that totally worked for
They
my
gave
kids.
peace of mind for your
Yeah,
kids.
because like, don't mess with your mom, you know. So I did. I was very careful about protecting myself, and also when it started to go a little bit deeper, that's when it all derailed. And that's when I realized it was the living that was more scary than the dead.
What do you mean derailed? Can you explain a little bit more on that?
Um, it was this person where we came together as a group,
Mm.
a bunch of us, and we were going to like battle more serious, more intense spirits.
Like antagonize them?
No, I never did anything like that. I never had any
Okay.
intentions. No, this was just more of entities that were causing harm to people.
Okay.
You know, I was a little hesitant, but I thought with the group, we could unify and hopefully protect ourselves. But it was that person who created it that ended up being a farce, creating an entity that didn't exist
Okay.
where we believed. And then when it got down to the part where we were supposed to go meet this person, he magically died. Oh, okay. And all of it was a lie and it hurt me. And that's when I laid it down for a long time because then this person came back when I confronted them and said all these terrible things about me and I was going to do this and that. And then she brought my children into it. And then I told her the same thing. You ever mention my children again, and I will end you. And I know what to do with your body. Don't you ever mention my children again. I'm very protective of them. And so I laid it down for a long time because I was hurt. I was totally emotionally wrecked by that because it's like, I trusted you. So
So what trying to trust goes in if you're on a team of investigators?
you have to be able to trust one another spiritually, truthfully. Um, if something is happening to you, whether you feel like you're at odds with yourself or you feel like, I remember one time I was on an investigation and I felt like this spirit was right in front of me and he was mean. And I remember telling one of the guys, I'm like, John, he's right in front of me. He's right in front of me. Can you get rid of him? And he did. He was helping me to get rid of him. So you have to be able to let your team know that I feel like I'm in danger right now. Can you help me? You know, or if you are making contact with a spirit, and we did do that, you have to trust the people that you're with that they're not going to chase that spirit away. You know, it's trust. It's 100% trust. And
Okay.
no talking about me behind my back or me talking about you behind your back.
It's a unity.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing too is I never taunted spirits. It's not right. You don't do that to get them to come out or to get them to do something. They're going to do what they're going to do. But if you think you got to be mean to them, you have to show respect for the dead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can wreak havoc on you, and I don't want that. I just want to communicate with them. Tell me what you want me to know.
So when you were on investigations, how did you communicate with spirits?
Well,
if there was any that you came across.
for me, a lot of it was just listening and feeling.
Okay.
Um, and then we would do EVPs, like ask questions, and then we'd have to go back and listen. The K2 meter that would go off if you ask questions. Did the light flashlight a couple of times, but I'm not so sure.
What's the flashlight?
Where you loosen the flashlight bulb just enough so that the spirits can use that like a vibration to answer questions. But I'm not so sure how I feel about that because there's 4 vibrations. I'm not so sure how I rely on that, but I've seen things that made me think, oh, that's kind of cool. Because one time we were doing it and I said something about making its presence known, and the flashlight we had sitting on a bed, and it actually rolled down the bed. And then you hear me going, oh, it rolled. Ooh, that was cool. But I like to just ask questions. I talk to them like I'm talking to you right now.
Okay.
And
so
then,
what kind of questions did you ask?
So I would ask like, okay, so it's probably been a long time since you've spoken to anybody. Are you aware that I'm here? And then we would just ask questions like, are you worried about somebody? You start with one question and then you just kind of got to decipher.
You just let it lead to other.
Let it lead to others.
Depending if they're talkative or not.
Yeah, exactly. And EVPs, listening to the EVPs. And even at that, like I said, you have to be careful what you're doing, what you're talking, or who you're talking to. Because who you think you're talking to, you may not be talking to.
Exactly.
Because there is a realm out there. I totally believe in that. And for the most part, I think it's people just wanting to let people, like, don't forget about me, or they're trying to communicate with us in one way or another. But then there are the evil ones.
Yeah.
And those are the ones you want to steer clear from. But how do you figure which one's good, which one's bad?
I think that's where you're feeling well, as an empath, I know with me, like this is with the living and the dead, but I'm going to start with the living. Like, it almost feels like I just walked into a brick wall. That's how the energy is. Just feels like, whoop, like I'm right in front of you and there's a wall that just went, whoop, and I'm like, okay. And I'll just turn and walk away. Like, it's just, that's how with the living. I used to have a client that I could tell when darkness entered her because her eyes turned black.
Yeah.
Like there was 2 sides of her. Like when I walked in the house, just by the color of her eyes, I could tell am I walking into someone that's low vibration right now, really bad, or if she's normal vibration.
So like somebody that's going through a very depressive state. Because those come and go.
Yeah. I agree on that. But it's also just feeling the body language and the words coming out of her. Like, it's using all your senses.
Yeah. Because I mean.
Now with the dead, I do have one commercial account that has been quite active over the last 2 years. But I can hear. So this particular account is sometimes right before I enter the door, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to have a live one, or ooh, there's going to be a dead one today. And the live ones don't bother me. I know I'm alone cleaning the office, but some random live person will come in, whether it's a subcontractor or an employee of theirs, but I know, like, I already pre-know.
Yeah.
I just have that knowing. Dead, it takes a few minutes after I'm there and I will hear the walking or I'll hear the breathing close by me. And then depending on what's going on, I like to say, like, I have an internal alertness.
Yeah.
And if I
full alert.
I know, like, the one time I heard the boots walking above my head, and it's a ceiling. I get that. There's nothing above that ceiling.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the roof of the building. I'm like, oh heck no. I was like, not
yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
You're
some
not
days you're
welcome
just
here.
like, I can't do it today. Yeah.
Yeah. But even on like another commercial account, I'll walk
Yeah.
into their warehouse and I'll feel those eyes. And I'm like, okay, you stay on that side of the warehouse. I go this way. But
Isn't
I was
it
like,
weird?
you do not cross that line.
Yes, when you feel those. Yeah, I know. I get it when you feel like,
Yeah. I
what
mean,
are you doing? Leave me alone.
spirits. I
Yeah.
mean, there's times where I got my earbud in, my Bluetooth, and I have my backpack vacuuming and I'm vacuuming and I feel it right behind me standing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, take a deep breath, Rachel. And I'll
Yeah,
flip
yeah,
around
yeah,
and I'll be
yeah.
like, back off.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to stand your ground, what's real,
Yeah.
or not what's real, but you have to stand your ground. You have to be strong. You have to be assertive,
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there are times when we're vulnerable,
Oh yeah.
when we're down, and it is easier.
To access.
Yeah, well, like the negative spirits or the negative vibrations in the world that are like, ooh, look, there's a fresh one. Let's go after that. And then whether you opened up to it or not, but it's just there because you're you're vulnerable, you're depressed, you have things going through, and you're trying to move forward, but you can't. And then there are things that will, it's like the devil and oh, I don't want to say the devil because
I just call it low vibration, high vibration.
yeah, and whether or not how you can deal with that, and it's not always easy,
No. Because sometimes, I mean, it's not a perfect world. You're going to
Mhm.
run into low vibrational people, high vibrational people.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the spirit world. I look at the spirit world as they're here right now in front of us.
It's just beyond the veil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing
yeah.
like
And
occasionally it's like walking outside. Like you might cross paths and it's if I'm in full mind body, like I'm balanced mind, body, and soul, I'm gonna pick it up. If I'm not that way, all my clairs are like pushed down.
Yeah.
Like I'm not open to receive.
yeah, yeah,
Or if I'm out and about and I'm like, okay, I'm off duty, people. There's no bugging me. Because
yeah,
you can do that, by the way.
yeah. Because I guess I have
You
to.
can tell the spirit world you're off
Yeah, I'm
the
off
clock.
limits. Yeah, because I know for me, I have to kind of, if I really want to turn it on and use it, like when I would go on ghost hunts, I would meditate
Yeah.
for a little while and then say my prayers and things. And then you go in and you just tune in and listen. But I can also feel it. Like one time we were doing a ghost hunt and we were in a ghost town. And some of the people that I was with were like, go in this room, go in this room. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot
Of activity.
Oh, wow. There's a well. Okay. But water is
It's energy.
yeah, it's a conduit for energy. Okay. But why is there a well indoor? Like what? And I'm looking down the well. I'm going, well, they used it for something, but what? And then I'm just looking around like, what the hell? What is going on in here? Boy, but it's not bad energy. Oh, but it can get
It can turn ugly.
it can get ugly. But for the most part, so we found the owner of the ghost town who had permitted us to do the ghost hunt there. And so I'm like, hey, his name was Billy. What was that building down there? And he goes, oh, that was the speakeasy. Oh, and he goes, in the well. I'm like, yeah, what's up with the well? That's where they'd keep the alcohol. They would tie it up and keep it down in the well water to keep it cold. And then they would pull it up. And then I'm like, oh, that explains it. He goes, and those boys could get a little rough. I'm like, yeah, you can feel it. It's still there. The energy is still there in that room, and that was exciting and feeling that and knowing that. Because there are things that, that occur that leave an imprint.
Yeah. I think all of us
Mhm.
leave an imprint.
I agree. But I think like buildings, areas, locations
I
get
think
imprinted.
everything, cars,
Yeah,
clothing,
yeah,
personal items.
yeah. Anything can be left with an imprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can touch something that belonged to somebody and be like, oh wow, I can feel that. Can I be specific? I don't know, but I can feel something here. And sometimes you just have to sit with it and ponder on it. And maybe you'll get something and maybe you won't. Just because you don't get anything doesn't mean you're not in tune. It's just that particular item is not for you, I guess. I don't know. It's
I think well, I'm going to remove the I think. I'm going to do the I feel. I think everybody's,
I feel.
yeah, everybody's, whatever doors you've opened up on certain gifts is all there.
Mhm.
And depending on how far you open that door is what you're going to experience.
Turning up the heat. Sorry.
So, um, with like mediumship, for example, when you hear mediumship, it's so, there's a mindset around it that you have to actually see the dead person and they have to pass on the message. And I call horse crap on that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
depending on how open you are to your gifts and where you're at, we're all energy waves. And I might see something, you might not see it, but you can feel it.
Mhm. I think, like people that have these gifts, these spirituals, mediums. For example, I saw an advertisement that someone's going to be here in Salt Lake City, to speak with your loved ones. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to go to that. And it's like, oh, you want a VIP? Well, that ticket's like $182. Oh, you want to just sit in the audience? Well, that's $102. And it's like, I mean, I get if, we all need a living, we need income, but shouldn't you just take what the person can afford, if anything at all, and just offer your gift instead of charging people to use your gift? I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. I mean, I just think $182 for a VIP for what?
You might not even get anything.
Yeah, because then you could come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, just nothing's coming through for you. Oh, how convenient for you. But I'm out $182. It said you would.
But you can also, and this is what, when I do medium readings, is, or if I pass messages on, is I let them know they can communicate with their deceased at any time. They just need to make sure the blocks are gone. They need to be open to receive. They have that ability. And they need to trust what information is coming through.
We've talked about that, but I'm not so sure that everybody has that gift. I really don't think. I mean, like some people are exceptional at playing the piano or painting or whatever their hobby or skill may be. I get that. And I think mediumship is the same way. I mean, can you nurture it? Yes. I guess
you can grow it.
You can grow it, but for some people, I don't think it will grow into what you want, like with some famous medium. I just don't think that's possible. And it's not fair to make somebody think that's possible. But I mean, again, it's a double-edged sword. With your dedication, who knows what you can turn it into. But don't be upset with yourself if you're not the next, renowned mediumship.
You're going to take, I feel like everybody we're all soul. And I think you have I got to get rid of that thing. I feel like everybody has the ability to everything. It's just if they're willing to put the time and the effort into it and bring it forward. But I mean, there's so much that, like with me, I know a lot of, like, my whole life, I pushed down this stuff because I was looked at as, and I was even because my spirit animal's a black cat, everybody. I've always had black cats. They just come. Which is fine.
Yeah.
I accept that now, but it's like you're a witch. And then it's the whole society is what's a witch? Oh, they cast spells and stuff. This is my feeling again. Yes, there's dark witch, light witch.
Yeah.
I'm on the lighter side.
Yeah, there is.
I don't practice
Unfortunately.
witchcraft.
Yeah, no.
I don't do that.
Remember that where we were the other night? I'm like, they got the black magic stuff over there, and I don't think that the two should be mixed in one building. I really don't. But that's my opinion, But I'm like,
well, we're in a world of dark and light.
but I don't think you should bring the two in together. Into
I
the same.
I agree, but that's their personal space.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
What someone does with or without their gifts, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, because I mean, we live in a world that is just very mystical.
Yeah, I am here to encourage others if they want to open their gifts, talk about their gifts. I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Let's educate and nurture you.
Yeah.
Instead of I'm not going to be judgmental or tell you that you're crazy or anything. It's going to be a safe space.
Yeah, because exactly. They need a safe space if you want to try to open your gifts up or look and see if you have what you feel like you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a place where you can practice that safely and not be judged.
Yeah.
And I totally agree.
But a lot has to also go in with you have to have that inner knowing that you can do it.
Yeah.
And that you trust yourself completely.
Yeah.
What's coming through.
That's why it's important to get to know yourself. So you need to get a notebook and start writing things down in terms of your fears. And then just take one major fear. Like, let's just say you're so afraid of going bankrupt, but why? So write bankrupt and circle it. And then little lines coming out.
I would be like, what does bankrupt mean to you?
Yeah. And then, but why? Why are you afraid of that? What will happen? And then, because I won't have anywhere to live or embarrassment, failure, whatever, and get through that and get to the core of that. So you understand that's one of your fears. Or I'm afraid of seeing dead people, but why? So
I had to do that over the last few years. I mean, my team, I love them to death. I encouraged them that I wanted to start seeing more. I am seeing more. Some of the stuff I see scares me. And then I have to be like, okay, why is that scary to you? Is it because of what the person looks like? Because when I'm seeing the dead now, it's like I'm seeing alive like you right in front of me. I can tell you exactly what you're wearing, how your hair is, if you're wearing glasses. Like I can go in the details.
See, and I don't necessarily.
I can see how your posture is.
Yeah, I don't know that I see that.
I've only seen it like 6 times in the last year and a half. And like the last one that I saw full form, I was looking at the person's clothing and I was like, okay, we're in a black leather jacket. We have a black shirt. I'm trying to identify what's on your shirt. I see your black jeans, your hairstyle. I'm going to suggest you're probably from the 80s. Because I'm like thinking back when I was a little girl, like in the 2nd and 3rd grade. I was like, okay, Def Leppard, Pyromania just came out. They were Hysteria. And I was like, okay, the teenagers looked exactly like that on the playground. And it used to scare the crap out of me. Like I didn't want to go and play on the monkey bars or anything because I saw the kids up against the fence smoking and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to say you're probably in the 80s. Ladies! Question is, what are you doing here?
Well, yeah.
Why are you at this house right now?
And there you pose a really good question there. In terms of, we bury our loved ones in maybe a favorite dress, like for my mom, or certain attire, like if they're LDS and they wear certain attire when they're buried, or if you're cremated. So when we see them, like when I saw my friend's mom, she was just wearing a cute little happy dress. And I believe it was green. I'm trying to pull it back on my, because it's like I keep going between green and yellow when I look down and it was green. It was a green dress. But she was cremated. So do we, obviously we see them in attire that they want to be in, that they were comfortable in?
I don't know, because that's a good question.
Yeah.
My mom was cremated, and I know she showed up in dream. Like, I know, like, if she's in my house, it's usually a shadow that goes across the wall, and I have a knowing it's her. But like when she shows up in my dream state, like I know we have conversations when we're eating ice cream and stuff. I don't pay attention to her clothes. And then that's a good question, is why?
Yeah.
Because generally the people I see in my dreams and I'm talking to and I communicate and I have not a clue who they are. And then I meet them in face to face in public, whether it's a few days later, next day, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, they're wearing pretty much the exact same item I saw them in my dreams.
Yeah. See, and I've never had that experience where I've dreamt of somebody and then met them later on.
Oh, it's crazy.
I don't believe I've owned, well, there was one time where I dreamt of a house, and then I saw it. And I was a kid. I was like 14 when I saw it. But I don't believe I've ever dreamt of a person and then later met them down the road. I don't think I've ever done that. So that's a unique gift.
Oh, it's creepy. It's scary. Because I know one of the person. So I had a dream and I was talking to this guy in my dream. And then he was at my commercial counter the next morning. And like I was walking down the hallway and I was like, that's the dude from my dream last night. And I was like, okay, who is he? Is he a customer? Is he an employee? I've never seen this kid before. And so one of the employees came through and I was like, hey, who's that guy? And he's like, why? I was like, is he an employee? Never met him. That's why. I'm just wondering, because he's been sitting there for a while. He's like, no, he's a customer. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like panicking, but it was really weird because I had the knowing, like that individual is mirroring me. Like, wait a minute, I saw her in my dream last night. And like I had that feeling. Right. And I was like, oh, I got to get out of here. This is crazy.
Isn't that weird? Have you ever, because I've had it a couple experiences where you've met somebody and I'm like, oh, I've met you before. It's right there. Where did we meet? Oh, it'll come to me later. And it never comes to you, but it's like, I know you from somewhere, and the best that, I could think is maybe when we were in heaven, we were friends then.
Maybe.
So, because I like to look at all realms, like the religious aspect of the spirit world, the mystical part of the spirit world. There's the veil, no veil.
Yeah.
Our premortal existence, and then what happens to us afterwards when we pass on. I totally believe that there is something beyond this. Yeah. There has to be.
I agree.
We've had our experiences. Maybe that's something we'll talk about in another show. Yeah, like with spirits that we've encountered, that our loved ones that have passed on, and the experiences that we've experienced with that. Because I think a lot of people experience that, and then of course you want to tell somebody about it, but who?
Well, I know, like,
because you can have somebody that will embrace that and like, oh, I totally believe you. But then there are other families that are like, oh yeah, like that really happened.
Well, you also have, if I know an old coworker, she was devastated that her mom passed. And it was funny because she would come into the office and she would be like, the funniest thing happened. And I would be like, what happened? And she's like, it's my birthday today. And I was like, happy birthday. And she's like, I was in my closet and a card fell down off my shelf, and it's a card from my mom. Isn't that the string? I was like, no, it's not the string. In my mind, I'm like, it's a sign, you idiot.
Yeah.
At least I know that.
Yeah, and I like hearing things like that. I've heard stories
But
like that.
she was in. You have some people that are in such grief and pain of, you know, their deceased loved one, that they can't acknowledge the signs.
No. Or they've been taught not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it doesn't exist. So.
And it does exist. I mean, it's funny because I've been thinking about that very thing about heaven and hell and Jesus and our, Heavenly Father, and then of course Satan and, demons, and all of that is very real.
Yeah.
And ghost hunting or being a medium, you have to be careful. And that's why you don't want to just, for fun, let's break out the Ouija board. Don't do it. Don't play with the Ouija board.
Educate yourself and protect yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because you could have the same experience doing EVPs. You can have the same experience using a KT meter or a flashlight, but you need to educate. You need to do your homework. You need to network with fellow networkers like yourself, because it's.
See, I've never been on a paranormal. I've never been on ghost hunting. I did. I was an observer in a house that had entities in it, or something in it, or open portals, and that's a whole nother discussion, people. But I was there to walk the house and pick up any vibrations I felt, whether it was off of objects, standing in a room, what I felt in the room. Did I smell? Did I taste? Anything like that? And I know in that house, I did see a man walk out of the room following the person that invited me to be the observer. And I was like stunned because I saw him in full form. And I was like, yeah, there's a dude behind you.
Wow. Yeah.
But other things, like I would look at a fireplace and I saw blackbirds come out of it. And so the homeowner was there, and I said, did birds ever come out of this fireplace? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay. And I was like, why am I sensing a dog? Like, I feel there's a dog in this house. Where's the dog? And she's like, I was like, but I don't physically see like dog bowls or anything, dog toys or anything. But I was like, I have a knowing there is a dog. Yeah. She's like, yeah, that's my deceased dog. I was like, okay, when he's around, you need to cleanse your house. That's what I told her.
Why? Cleanse, like?
I said, he's trying to warn you. You're bringing in crap.
Oh, okay. So the dog is there for her protection.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was, and it brought me back to my early 20s. Like, I was in her bedroom, and I was like, oh, God, this room makes me uncomfortable. It's just, I can't even, there was just so many emotions going through, but I was looking at her wall behind her bed, and it was like man-made. Like, she just picked up rocks and put them on the wall. And I was like, all I'm seeing is feet walking. I was like, where did you get these stones? Did someone make it? She's like, no, I picked them up and I created this wall. I was like, okay. I was like, do you not cleanse the objects before you you bring them into the house? She's like, no, I never thought of that. I was like, okay, maybe you should think about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't think about what may be imprinted, because something could have happened there and left an imprint. We were doing that one ghost hunt at a storage unit place here in Salt Lake City. And it's January. It's the dead of winter. It's 3:00 in the morning, and we're at this storage unit place, and all three of us at the same time, we heard it, and then we were just then we're all looking at each other. Did I just hear? We heard kids.
Uh-huh.
We could hear like playground activity, and it turns out there was a playground, a school, where that particular storage location is, and apparently maybe there was a fire, or they tore it down to make way for public buildings and stuff, or buildings, businesses.
Yeah.
And but the kids, the laughter was imprinted there, and we could hear it.
Well, it's just like that movie that you had me watch of Tom Hanks and Robin Wright.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
that's the prime example. That's a really good example of imprinting.
Yeah.
Because if you even drive around like locations that I knew certain buildings existed, back when I was a little kid, and now they're completely, it's like torn down, demoed, and now it's like new buildings. It's like the energy's on that land
Oh,
still.
I know. And it's kind of sad when they rip down these old buildings, and it's like, well, there's a heartbeat in that building, whether you
Yeah.
believe it or not, And then it's like, I was thinking there's a place, it's Parley's Canyon.
Mhm.
So when I'm going up to Park City or to Heber, now it's been a long time since I've taken that drive, but when I get into Parley's Canyon, I don't feel like this is the place where, Brigham Young came in and everybody was hunky dory. To me, it has a very dark.
I see car crashes. I see deer
I don't like.
on the road that have been. Those are the flashes that go through my head.
See,
when
I don't
I'm driving that.
see that. It's just that I feel this darkness within that place, and I'm like, I don't understand why it would feel like this, or I feel like this because this is supposed to be, where the pioneers came in, and everybody was like, oh, thank God we're finally, we're
Yeah.
home. This is the place. But I just go, and I just want out of that canyon, and especially when you're coming down that canyon. And the grade it's a very intense canyon. I get that, but I don't find it a happy place. And if I don't have to go through Parley's Canyon,
You don't want to.
like I'm not going to go for a drive. And I love canyon drives.
Yeah.
I love going into Big Cottonwood Canyon and Little Cottonwood Canyon. Love those, but Parley's just like,
Gives you the
yeah, give me the heebie-jeebies, yeah. So, yeah.
So do you want to call it?
Yeah, I got to make you dinner. So,
Okay. Everybody, thank you for watching our spiritual chat whenever you find it. If you do have any questions, just put it in the comments. And if you want it directed more towards ghost hunting, paranormal activity, we'll bring Dana back on to answer those questions. And I guess I should look at, there we go. Or any other spiritual questions this is just a chat. If you would like some viewpoints on it, we're more than happy to answer them.
there's a lot to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here going, oh, there's that one time.
As you start talking about it, you're remembering.
Yeah.
So, but
oh, there's a guy in the thing in the place. Remember that? Oh, yeah.
So, yes, thank you. But my goal again is to have this once a month, is to help people come out of the shadows. So anything that's bothering them that they can't discuss with family or friends, but they need a safe space, we are here. So have a
You're
fantastic
safe here.
Sunday, and we end stream, and stick safe.
Adios, amigos.
Okay.
Okay.